don't park next to an overflowing garbage can, and look for things like burrow holes.
Have survived in the city by the law of large numbers.
Talking about rats, complaints are in the thousands, and now there are questions about the system meant to control the rodent problem.
For years, Chicago has topped lists of America's most rat-infested cities. In fact, the pest control firm Orkin has ranked it #1 for over a decade. Rats scurry through alleys, sewers, and subway tunnels beneath the windy city's busy streets. From viral sidewalk photos of rat-shaped stains to garage mechanics finding rats nesting in car engines, tales of rodents are everywhere. To understand why this problem persists, we need to look back at how Chicago's growth created ideal rat habitat, examine the latest data on sightings, and review what the city and its residents are doing to push back. Chicago's rat problem isn't new. Ever since the city boomed in the 1800s, when railroads and shipping brought people and goods from all over, rats followed the food and shelter provided by an expanding city. Historic accounts note that after the Great Chicago Fire 1871 and waves of immigration and industrial growth, vermin thrived amid debris, sewers, and new buildings. Over the decades, the city adopted better sanitation and waste systems. For instance, Chicago built one of the first modern sewer networks in the 1850s, but rats adapted right along with us. By the late 20th century, as Chicago's population grew and urban alleys became filled with garbage from row houses and restaurants, rat numbers remained stubbornly high. Pest experts say that Chicago's famous alley system, once built to keep trash away from front streets, actually gives rats safe hideouts and easy access to food. Today, that legacy lives on. The city's hidden nooks under sidewalks, below elevated tracks, and behind rail lines let rat colonies flourish mostly out of sight. Year after year, Chicagoans file tens of thousands of rat-related complaints with 311. In the spring of 2025, a local news investigation found that over a one-year period, there were roughly 43,400 rodent complaints to 311 across the city. That's on par with past years. For comparison, 2022 saw about 40,000 complaints citywide.
Other news, I think you're going to like this. Pest control company Orkin just released its annual list of the rattiest cities in America. Surprisingly enough, New York is not #1. It is #2 on that list. Los Angeles is #3. But who takes the cake? Chicago, for the 8th year in a row. I think we'll let them have it. I don't think we want that title, right?
A joint analysis of city data showed more than 214,000 rat complaints were logged between 2019 and the end of 2022 alone. In short, it's common for Chicagoans to witness rats at least once every few days in the summer months. Neighborhoods with lots of alleys and dense housing tend to report the most rats. For example, West Town and Lakeview often top the list, with over 2,000 complaints in a 12-month span, followed by areas like Portage Park, Logan Square, and Lincoln Park. Local media reports also note spikes in certain areas in late 2024. Communities like Gage Park and Beverly saw rapid rises in sightings. On average, each rat complaint takes about a week to address, so city crews are under pressure to clear backlogs. Experts use these complaints as a rough gauge of rat levels. Pest controllers at Orkin gauge their annual rankings by tracking calls and jobs. Chicago has held the #1 spot on their Rattiest Cities list 10 years running. This mirrors what local officials see no matter the year. Chicago's rodents seem everywhere. In addition to sheer numbers, another telling indicator is that the city's rat control budget has ballooned. In 2024, the mayor's proposed budget dedicated about $14.85 million to the Bureau of Rodent Control, roughly $1.5 million more than the previous year, showing how seriously officials take the problem. Rats multiply quickly and find Chicago's environment incredibly hospitable. Pest specialists note that one pair of rats can produce thousands of offspring in a single year if conditions are right. In fact, a wildlife control expert once quipped that 2 rodents can become 15,000 in 1 year if left unchecked. Several factors explain why Chicago in particular lets so many rats thrive. Chicago has miles of alleyways, old sewer lines, and abandoned buildings. Rats favor dark, sheltered places near food. The many rear alleys of residential blocks give rats perfect breeding grounds. They can burrow beneath train tracks or hide under building foundations. Once hidden, a rat colony, sometimes up to 50 to 100 rats, can quietly expand before being noticed. Garbage is a main rat attractant. Chicago provides sturdy, sealed trash carts to homes, but not every can is cared for properly. Overflowing dumpsters and unsecured garbage bags still occur, especially in busy commercial corridors and some residential areas. Leftover birdseed, pet food left outside, or spilled food waste from eateries all feed rats. In recent years, residents sometimes unknowingly made things worse. For example, feeding stray animals or not cleaning up fallen birdseed can invite rodents. Construction and demolition have unexpected effects. When old buildings or lots are disturbed, buried rat nests are suddenly exposed and rats flee into nearby blocks. City rules require a pest abatement certificate when demolishing a structure, but ironically, new construction permits often skip full rodent remediation. This means excavating soil for a new foundation might unearth rats without forcing contractors to contain them, so colonies scatter into adjacent areas. Climate change and milder winters are making matters worse. Studies show that warmer city climates let rats breed for more of the year. In very cold climates, harsh winters would normally kill off many rats underground. But Chicago's winters have become less reliable natural pest control. A global study of 16 cities, including Chicago, found that urban areas warming rapidly saw rat populations explode. Each additional degree of winter warmth means more rats survive and reproduce. Even in the short term, rainy summers and hot days can expand food sources, more insects, more trash not collected promptly, which feeds rodent growth. Pandemic effects. The COVID-19 lockdowns upended Chicago's rat food supply chain. With restaurants and businesses shuttered, alley trash changed. One study found that about 20% of Chicagoans noticed more rats near their homes during early 2020, a surprising increase during lockdowns. Researchers theorize that rats driven out of now empty alley restaurants foraged in residential areas, or that irregular garbage pickup created spotty conditions. Also, more people staying home exposed rats that might not be seen when everyone was out and about. Chicago's government has not ignored the rat problem. The Department of Streets and Sanitation (DSS) operates a dedicated Bureau of Rodent Control. Each day, rodent crews patrol alleys all over the city. When a rat sighting or infestation is reported by the 311 service request system, DSS dispatches a team to inspect the alley or yard, clean up rodent-friendly debris, replace or repair damaged trash carts, and lay rodenticide bait or traps in the borough. Over the past few years, the city has boosted these efforts. As noted, the rat control budget grew by about 10% in 2024. That funding is being used to add crews and vehicles. 3 new rat control teams with new trucks are being hired, and overall staffing for the Bureau has increased, though it is still below pre-2019 levels. Streets and sanitation officials say they aim to have at least 1 rodent control crew operating in every ward on a rotating basis. DSS has also tried new tactics. They once used dry ice, solid carbon dioxide, to suffocate rats underground, a method that worked briefly under former Mayor Emanuel, but was shut down by regulators. Now the city plans a modern version using approved coal gas instead, hoping to fill burrows and asphyxiate rats without poisons. They are even exploring electronic and sensor-equipped traps inspiration from other cities and are working with federal agencies. One of the more surprising innovations is rat birth control. In 2025, a small pilot program is launching in the Wicker Park and Bucktown neighborhoods. Instead of poison, bait boxes in alleys will dispense a cottonseed oil-based fertility inhibitor. This product renders rats infertile for a time. Tests suggest it can cut the breeding population by more than half in one gestation cycle, without killing the animals outright. A local pest control executive explains that traditional poisons are failing. Many urban rats now carry poison residue but survive it, so a new approach is needed. The community hopes birth control will reduce overall numbers humanely and safely. Even a dog would have to eat its body weight of the bait to be affected. On the sanitation side, Chicago has cracked down on violations. Businesses and residents who dump trash improperly face tickets from the health department. The city continues to distribute millions of heavy-duty plastic garbage carts to replace flimsy trash bags.
I think people need to clean up behind themselves.
Next year, New York City's trash pickup is set to receive a major overhaul. Current rules allow residents to toss their trash at the curb for the following morning's pickup starting at 4 p.m. Mayor Adams says that time will be pushed back to 8 p.m., cutting back the average time garbage sits on the street from 14 hours to 10 hours. But will it make a difference?
Crews clean graffiti and illegal dumping from alleys, aiming to eliminate rat food sources. Officials also repair crumbling sewer covers and fill sidewalk cracks to deny rats entry. DSS commissioned motion sensor lights and is testing quieter bait boxes that log rat activity to better target the pests. Additionally, Chicago's fight has even drawn national attention. The city hosted and sent delegates to the first ever National Urban Rat Summit in New York. Chicago's Deputy Rodent Control Commissioner met New York's newly minted rat czar to swap strategies. Experts from the Lincoln Park Zoo's Urban Wildlife Institute, which studies Chicago rats, presented research at these summits. In short, city leaders are combining traditional extermination with research and community action. Chicago's rat problem is deeply entrenched, and residents should expect that only a combination of approaches will yield progress. City sanitation improvements and newer technologies from co-burrow fumigation to fertility control will hopefully chip away at numbers. At the same time, experts all agree that community behavior matters. Keeping neighborhoods clean, securing food sources, and even supporting predator species like raptors and controlled cat colonies can help tip the balance. There is reason for cautious optimism. In recent budget cycles, Chicago has shown willingness to fund more rat crews and try alternative methods. Some residents report slight drops in sightings when ordinances are strictly enforced. Trash is collected promptly, and neighbors cooperate on cleanliness. But as the city learned during the pandemic and from climate studies, rats are resilient survivors. For most Chicagoans, the key is vigilance and cooperation. Homeowners and renters can do their part by following the city's simple tips. Seal up cracks, lock trash lids, pick up pet food at night, and report any burrows or alley rats to 311. Neighborhood block clubs might organize spring alley cleanups or free trap exchanges. If birth control bait works as hoped, it could become a powerful tool in the future. And if citizens continue to demand smarter policies, like integrated pest management rather than heavy poison use, there's a chance to protect both people and wildlife. Chicago's battle with rats may not end overnight, but by combining science, strong sanitation, and community effort, the city hopes to finally gain ground. Rats will always be around in some form, but the goal is to make sure they stay out of homes, away from gardens, and at manageable levels. As one entomologist put it, addressing rats is not a people problem. It's a human problem, meaning we have to change our habits as much as we change our tactics. With a clear-eyed understanding of the challenge, and an all-hands-on-deck approach. Chicago continues its uphill fight against these furry invaders.